Hey everybody, we are back with another Penny Dreadful review, and today we are reviewing Season 2, Episode 8, titled Memento Mori. If you're not totally caught up with Penny Dreadful, you're probably going to want to skip this video because everything we say from this point forward is going to be a spoiler. This episode, it starts off basically immediately after the last one.
Yeah.
And Lily is still lying with the man who she murdered at the end of last episode. And she's talking to him and, I don't know, kind of telling him that, you know, she wishes boys never grew up. And she's like, well, you're not going to grow up anymore.
It was a little morbid, and it just totally worked with her character.
And it was a little foreshadowing of something we get later in the episode.
Yes.
But jump to John Clare, and he is completely fed up with Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah, he is super mad that Frankenstein allowed her to go out. But, you know, my thought is, Frankenstein had an easy out for that because she doesn't know she's dead.
Mm-hmm.
And so Frankenstein can't not let her go out. That's just not right. Who is he? She's just his cousin. He has no control over that. So really, John Clare can't really be mad at him.
He doesn't have a leg to stand on in that argument, but I don't think he understands that.
And not only that, Frankenstein doesn't even argue it. He's just like, okay, well, I guess you're gonna come and kill me later.
Yeah.
All right.
I think Frankenstein is a little bit defeated himself because he's in love with Lily too.
Yeah.
And he sees her drawing farther away from him.
Yeah.
So I think he's completely defeated as far as that goes. And John Clare just doesn't really fully comprehend the situation, I think.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
Lily sets him straight a little later.
Yes, she does.
Also, Inspector Rusk confronts Sir Malcolm.
Yeah.
And Sir Malcolm's just not having it.
No, he's just basically, in the politest way possible, says, fuck you, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. He's like, do what you want, dude.
Yeah,
but
do whatever you want, but you're not going to prove anything, you're not going to get me, so whatever.
Yeah.
I'm rich, I can do this.
And I absolutely love that scene because I cannot stand Inspector Rusk.
Me either.
And to basically, for Sir Malcolm, even though he's totally still under Mrs. Poole's spell, to tell you know, Inspector Rusk basically to go shove it up his ass was absolutely awesome.
But I love, what's so great is that they say stuff like this in the most polite way possible. It reminded me so much of when Ethan spoke with him, with the inspector, how they were just kind of these veiled, polite threats back and forth, and that's what this conversation felt like, and it's just so awesome. I love it, because we don't do that nowadays.
No. We have no subtlety in modern language. But in this show, and in that time period, they totally did.
Yeah, and it's just superbly written.
But also in that scene, and especially later in a later scene, Sir Malcolm seems to be becoming kind of self-aware that he's been enchanted.
Yeah, he kind of realizes that he's not himself. In fact, him and Dr. Frankenstein are talking about being in love, and it's almost as like a light bulb goes on in Sir Malcolm's head, and he's like, I've not been myself. I've been happy. I'm not a happy person.
Yeah.
And it starts the domino effect that culminates when he's thrown into the ballroom and it just kind of finally hits him. This isn't me.
Yeah.
I didn't mourn for my wife, and this is just not me. And he kind of breaks down, and the spell is kaput, and he's finally out of enchantment.
Mrs. Poole, in trying to get Vanessa to come back, she fully tries to possess Sir Malcolm. And as soon as his eyes go full black, Sembene, you know, he jumps into action and grabs him and throws him into the ballroom that looks like it basically hasn't been used in decades.
Yeah, and I hope we get a little bit more background into that. How did he know that the ballroom would be the trigger? Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's got to be a reason, but I really hope we get some background for that.
I think Sembene at some point had to be like a shaman or something where he is from, like in his village or whatever, because just his knowledge that we've gotten from him so far, he definitely has a spiritual background, so I'm thinking a shaman or something.
And he definitely has some sort of magical background. He is aware of magic, and
Takes it in stride.
Takes it in stride. It's almost like it's not surprising. Not only that, he seems to be able to kind of sense magic. He's one of the ones that when the witches were there, he sensed something was off. He couldn't pinpoint it, but he kind of sensed something was off.
And when Sir Malcolm was, he first came back after being enchanted, he was the one.
He knew right away.
He was the one who said, "That's not Sir Malcolm."
Yeah, he knew right away something was wrong with him.
Absolutely. One of the most interesting scenes from this episode was when they're gathered around the table and Ferdinand is, he's reciting, they've put together the entire Verbis Diablo, the poem, the story of the devil, and he reads it all the way through, and we find out that Lucifer had a brother. And
the seasons finally make sense because it was kind of like
it was disconnected a little.
Yeah, like we were like, why are we like, she was just possessed by the devil and now we're going to witches? That doesn't make any sense, but now it does because the first season was the vampires, which is brother number 1. It makes a little bit more sense why Miss Ives is at the center of it. They both want her.
Yeah, and as Ferdinand is explaining the Verbis Diablo to them and reading it aloud, he remarks on the Hound of God. And Sir Malcolm corrects him and says, "No, you're mistranslating that. It's the Wolf of God."
It's Ethan.
What's interesting though is Sir Malcolm, he doesn't have would he have been able to translate that?
I don't know.
Or was that an effect of the enchantment?
Yeah, maybe he was possessing some of her knowledge because that happened right before she took full control over him and he had the blacked out eyes. So I wonder if
she was doing the incantation.
If they were intermingling and he was able to access some of her knowledge, and that's why he was saying, "No, that's the Wolf of God." But it makes it sound like Ethan is what is going to protect Miss Ives from...
Because as soon as he says wolf, Sambine's like, "Wolf?"
Yeah, Sambine perks right up. He's like, "I know a wolf.
I know a wolf.
I know a wolf."
He's my buddy.
I watched him transform.
And when we finally catch up with Dorian Gray, we speculated last time that Angelique wasn't going to be entirely happy with Dorian having what seems to be a platonic relationship with Lily, and she's totally not.
Yeah, no, she's very, very jealous. And when Dorian goes out with Lily, she decides to kind of explore a little bit. And
well, the candles blow out because of the draft.
Yeah, but still, like, the candles blow out, and she looks into it, finds that one of the paintings is actually a doorway, and she goes in there and she finds his painting. Mm-hmm. And so he comes home, he sees the door open, and I knew, as soon as he saw, I was like, "Oh, Angelique's dead. He's not going to allow her to live after this." And they try to trick us, but not really. I knew the whole time. He comes in with wine and says, "Can you still love me even though you see the real me?"
And she says yes.
Yeah, she says yes, and he still poisons her with the wine, which I was
at that point it was too late. He can't be like, "Well, then don't drink this."
Yeah. I don't think he trusted that. I think
absolutely not. No.
Yeah, he's so corrupted. I mean, we finally got a little glimpse at the painting, and we saw how far he is.
He looked like
corrupted.
Gollum from Lord of the Rings, like chained
really
up
did.
in a dungeon. And what I thought was interesting is the painting hissed at him and he flinched, and that seems like that might be important. Like that was maybe the first time that he was afraid of the painting,
afraid of himself.
Right. So I'd like to see what they do with that, if they do anything with that. I really hope they do.
Yeah, I hope they do too.
And by far my favorite scene of this episode is John Clare is waiting for Lily to get home from her second date with Dorian Gray, and she comes home and he confronts her, and he's trying to take ownership of her. And there's a trend in this episode of people just not putting up with other people's bullshit, and Lily's just not putting up with John Clare's bullshit at all.
Yeah, but it's really weird. It's almost as if she discovers right then and there what she is, because she starts off the conversation saying, "Your monstrous look with this," almost as if, who's gonna believe that? I don't believe that. I'm gorgeous, you're not, we can't be together. And it's almost as like something clicked, and she was like, "He's dead. I'm dead. We are the same. We are reanimated corpses," because she slowly gets into, we'll take over the world, we'll have children, and take over everything.
Yeah. Lily has world domination on her mind, but her little monologue was really interesting because it begs the question, was she fully aware of what she was the entire time, or did she have kind of a reawakening in the middle of her monologue?
It felt to me like as she was degrading him and putting him down, it suddenly clicked to her that they were the same thing. They were both monsters, and that she just got the better end of the deal at being pretty. It's like it finally clicked for her. I don't think she's known all along. I think talking with him and then her, remembering what she did to the guy, I think that all put it all together for her. And during the monologue, she finally realized what she was.
And the interesting thing to me is Lily is an inherently evil person.
Yes.
And I don't think John Clare really is. I think he has issues, but I don't think he is inherently evil. So I'm wondering what their dynamic is, because she's clearly the dominant one. Mm-hmm. He's just generally a pretty submissive person, but she is by far the dominant member of this relationship. But how long is it going to take before John Clare goes, no, what we're doing, what you're talking about, isn't right?
Yeah. And I don't see her stopping her antics with the other men.
Absolutely not.
Taking him to bed and strangling them. She seemed to really enjoy it, and I don't see him liking that idea.
Right.
So I don't see him getting behind that. I think he'll try to make it work, but I think they're going to have problems.
I think probably Vanessa is going to be the catalyst for John Clare standing up to Lily.
Yeah.
So the episode ends very predictably with Sir Malcolm deciding to go to Mrs. Poole's. It's not really her
mansion.
House. It's like a mansion / hideout.
Castle.
It serves so many different purposes because she's got like trap doors and stuff and secret parts of her lair.
Yeah. And voodoo dolls.
But he goes in by himself, which seemed a little bit out of character for me because
I think he was so mad at because after he broke the enchantment, I think he remembered everything. I don't think he just woke up having amnesia and was like, whoa,
no.
Where did the last 2 weeks go?
I think he was
He
totally
remembered
aware. Yeah.
everything that he's done, all the things that he's not felt, and he knew it was her immediately.
Yeah.
So I think he was just so mad and upset that he didn't think, he just went off.
He went there with violent intentions and it 100% backfired.
Oh, of course.
And the episode concludes, and he's in a major pickle. There are 3 coffins in this room, and they have supposedly the corpses of his wife, his daughter, and his son, and they reanimate, and they begin approaching him. But are they hallucinations? Are they actually there? I think it's a spell, a hallucination.
Yeah, I think it's a spell. So it's a hallucination because his son was dead and buried in
Long
Africa
dead.
a very long time ago, and his body's pretty normal looking.
Yeah,
a little pallid,
a little fresh.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
a corpse that old.
Yeah, so I think it's a hallucination induced by some form of spell. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it can't hurt him.
Right. Anyway, there's only 2 episodes left this season, and it looks like they're going to be just amazing, mind-blowing episodes. There's a lot of stuff still to resolve.
Yes, there is.
So whether or not they can get that done in 2 episodes, that'll be easy or interesting to see. What do you guys think? How are they going to conclude this thing? Are we going to get a major cliffhanger to be continued kind of a thing, which we didn't really get last season? We had, pretty much a beginning, a middle, and an end.
That's what I'm hoping for this season. I don't want a cliffhanger ending. I want them to resolve everything here and have a new story next season.
I'm hoping that's the way it's going to go. How do you think it's going to go? Let us know in the comments.
And don't forget to like and subscribe. And on Fridays, we do a Topic of the Week video, and we always need topics for those. So if you have a suggestion for us, put that down in the comments below, and we will look through them all and choose the one we think we can make the best video for, and that's what we will post on Friday.
Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.